dealer for details.
Tired of your sports commentary sounding like it's been crafted by a toaster with a thesaurus? Say no to AI Sports Radio. Hi, this is Evan Cohen, and nothing beats the thrill of hearing a real human fumble their words live on air. Say goodbye to robotic boredom and hello to the chaos of human error with ESPN 106.3.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo live from the Jackie Robinson Training Complex up in Vero Beach, Florida on ESPN 106.3. Next 2 hours with you. Colin Russo with you. Joined alongside me is Mike Rizzo as always. We got Damian Perez now behind the glass over at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Next 2 hours with us right here on ESPN 106.3. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. It's that one of the great traditions in Sports Day, and it is none other than Jackie Robinson Day throughout the MLB, where you will see all teams in action, and most importantly, every single player. It's a rule in the MLB where nobody can wear the number 42 until everybody wears the number 42 on April 15th, because Jackie Robinson debuted at Ebbets Field for the Brooklyn Dodgers back in 1947 on this very date. Jackie Robinson, somebody who is one of, if not the most impactful person in American professional sports. When you talk about the Trailblazers, you got to bring up the actual social impact, just as much as about how well he was on the field. Jackie Robinson was a pioneer. He was a trailblazer. He was somebody who broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball and with the National League in the Dodgers. And down here in Vero Beach, this is where the Dodgers did their spring training up until 2008. Then they shifted over to Arizona. But when they were in Brooklyn and when they moved to L.A. in 1958, this is where they were in spring training. This is where Jackie would play frequently. We were in a beautiful complex, and you got a little single-A spring training ball tonight. That is first pitch around 6 o'clock right here. You got the Clearwater Threshers, the Phillies affiliate, taking on the Palm Beach Cardinals. That is right here at Holman Stadium in Vero Beach, Florida, at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex. Gates open 5 p.m., opening ceremony at 6. Game starts at 6:42, actually. Mike, I love Jackie Robinson Day because I think in terms of a commemoration for an important legacy, for an important player, for an important person, really, in the context of American society, I think baseball does it right. They hit the nail right on the head in terms of honoring somebody who deserves this type of recognition. You know, they retired Bill Russell's number, they retired Wayne Gretzky's number, but none match the importance and the stature of 42 and how they do it with Jackie Robinson today.
Agreed. And as far as Jackie, you know, he really was a pioneer, not only for baseball, but for other sports as well. You know, he really set the tone back in the 50s where baseball was the most popular sport. You know, nowadays the NFL rules all. The NFL is king. Back then it was baseball. I go back to my great-grandfather's generation, my great-grandfather Pa, his last day on this planet, before he died peacefully in his sleep, he was yelling to my grandmother about what the Guardians were doing in the game. So, like, that was their generation. It was baseball. It was a big deal. And for Jackie to do that in baseball, to be the pioneer he was, really, I think was leading the way for things to change and change to come. And I love that they do the 42 day. And you know, you alluded to earlier in the show, no one's allowed to wear 42 until this day when everybody wears 42. What a heck of an accomplishment, all the accomplishments that Jackie made. But Colin, you know, Jackie not only made his accomplishments, but his family also helped make accomplishments as well overseas as well.
Yeah, you got Mac Robinson, his older brother, who was an Olympic track and field athlete in the 200-meter, famously in 1936 at the Berlin Olympics. You might remember Jesse Owens and winning all those gold medals with Hitler in the building at the rise of the Third Reich and the Nazism and the whole thing. Jesse Owens won that. Who came in silver in the 200-meter? Mac Robinson. So this is a family of prestigious athletes. This is a family of pioneered academic and athletic excellence. Jackie Robinson was Bill Russell was at his funeral. Reverend Jesse Jackson delivered the eulogy. The famed civil rights activist who's still alive today, I believe. His wife actually is still alive to this day, Rachel Robinson. She lives up in, I believe, in Connecticut still, because that's where they raise their kids, up in Stamford, Connecticut. She's 102 years old. Right. And she still runs the Jackie Robinson Foundation to this day. And
speaking of Jackie, I mean, to have facilities like this, I mean, this is a beautiful facility where we're live at today, and it just speaks volumes to what baseball truly has done to immortalize a very important figure within sports. So I love Jackie Robinson Day 2, Kyle. I'm excited to see, I watch a lot of MLB baseball. I'm excited to see all the 42 jerseys coming up tonight, and we got a great single A game coming up here too.
Yeah, that's at 6:42. The interesting thing about Jackie is there were so many players at hand when he was first making his debut. Branch Rickey, famously played by Harrison Ford in the movie 42, that came out about Jackie's career. Branch Rickey was the owner, the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, the guy who really made the decision that, hey, we're going to integrate Major League Baseball. We're going to integrate the National League, and it's my job to find who that player is going to be.
Right.
And when he found Jackie playing with Montreal, the Monarchs, and there were a couple options, too. There were a lot of great players playing in the Negro Leagues. It was not just as much about how good you were on the field. It was about the character. That's what Branch Rickey was looking for. That was the circle on the icon of, all right, who is this guy going to be? Because not only is this guy going to be one of the most famed athletes to ever play baseball, but he's going to be somebody that is going to be met with immense ridicule, immense, I guess, opposement. Mm-hmm. And somebody that about half the league is going to be very unhappy, including teammates, including fans, very unhappy with him playing in the MLB, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and he had to handle the burden of being, the first black player to break the color barrier. And I think an important thing what they looked at with Jackie is that he could handle it. To your point, Colin, he could handle all the criticism and things that came his way at that time.
That famous line where he asked Branch Rickey, he's like, you want somebody who doesn't have the guts to fight back? And Branch Rickey responds, and I believe this is a real line, and he says, no, I want somebody who has the guts not to fight back. That's the key.
And I think for someone like me who never really grew up with racism present and stuff like that, it's just crazy to even think about at this point what Jackie Robinson had to go through and everything that he was able to accomplish in his career, even though he had all those things against him.
He won the National League MVP in 1947. He won the National League MVP in 1949. He was elite stealing bases. At second base, he was an elite man in the field. He was great at getting the ball into play. His key, he was never really much of a power hitter, but he was good at getting on bags, and it really reinvented stealing bases and sort of the game within the game in base running. That was that was Jackie Robinson's game. It was the defense, it was the base running, it was the getting the ball in play. He became a better hitter as his career rolled on. He didn't have a long career. He had health issues and the diabetes and everything. And he eventually suffered a heart attack in 1968, 9, something like that. And but in terms of what he offered as a baseball player, he was a reinvention.
Yep.
He was something different. He was as good of a base runner and as good of a guy to get the ball into play in the field as he was off the field in terms of an upstanding character to withstand all that. And the Cardinals famously went after him. Oh, my God, the amount of ridicule that he faced. And I think that's a testament to what he was. And this is the same guy, mind you, who was drafted into the military and was honorably discharged for refusing to sit in the back of a bus alongside a bunch of other guys in the Army.
Right.
And he honorably discharged. An all-white jury acquitted him of all the crimes that the Army tried to put up against him to get him in trouble. Mm-hmm. And then he was able to begin his professional career with football. And this is a four-sport athlete who did that in the Army. This is an incredible life.
It is.
For somebody who didn't even have that long of a life, in retrospect, it was one of the most impactful people in American society, not even just sports.
It's an American hero. Call it for what it is. It's an American hero to this point where, I want to say baseball probably does the best job of immortalizing a player comparatively to other leagues. Now, Kyle, I understand that. I just got done explaining earlier in the segment that baseball was king in the 50s. If there was going to be a sport to do this in, it was going to be baseball. But I think baseball has done a heck of a job of immortalizing Jackie Robinson with great facilities like this Jackie Robinson Day. And I think other sports could probably take some notes as far as, some of your all-time greats, the players that are breaking barriers, kind of, hey, this is how you should do it. How many times have we heard, baseball needs to adjust to the times, baseball needs to do this, they need to do that. Well, baseball, people could take notes on what they do with Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, if there's one thing that baseball does really well, it's they memorialize. They're very good at honoring history. Baseball's got the thickest history. Baseball's got the longest history comparatively to all the major sports. That they do an excellent job with Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, the old Yankees, the old Red Sox, the whole thing.
Yep.
They do a very good job at memorializing great players, great moments, great teams, and I think they do that better than other sports.
And I'll even say they did a great job with Willie Mays, too.
Yes.
When Willie passed away recently, and they played that game at the old Negro League stadiums. I thought that was great. I think it was the Cardinals. Forgive me, I forget the other team they were playing. But I watched the whole game, and
Birmingham or something like that?
Yeah, it was fascinating. So I think baseball does a great job with that. Can I quickly circle back around to Jackie and his statistics? Because talk about a guy who didn't strike out a lot. I am such a fantasy baseball nerd. Jackie Robinson would have been great in fantasy. 32 strikeouts and 357 at-bats his final year in 1956. 32 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Guy didn't get punched out.
Yeah.
Talk about putting bat to ball.
And he was on a bunch of great Dodger teams who unfortunately ran into the Yankees a bunch. Those great teams in the 50s with the Yankees. But he won a championship in 1956. I believe it was the last year he ever played baseball. He tried to trade him, and he ended up retiring and taking leadership roles here and there. But if you go through his career in terms of his earnings, his impact, his popularity, it exponentially rose after those first couple of years where he played in minor league ball, and then he played with the Dodgers in that first year. And then as more and more black players started entering in the MLB, it just completely changed the game. One of my favorite scenes, and I mentioned 42 for the second time now because I think it's a great movie. I think it's a great telling of the story of Jackie Robinson. I love the scene where all the players on the Dodgers are organizing a petition. And they're organizing a petition that they do not – I'm not sure if the petition part is accurate. I know they didn't want to play with him, but they were meeting and organizing a petition to get him off the Dodgers. And Leo DeRocher, who is Robinson's first manager, who they eventually let go, but was somebody who I guess embodied the baseball side of what Jackie offered, and he embodied the popularity aspect and the controversy. And he got wind of this, called all the guys into the kitchen, and that great scene with Leo DeRocher. And he says that famous line. He goes, I don't care if he's yellow. I don't care if he's black. I don't care if he's got stripes like a zebra. And it's like if this guy can win us ball games, he's going to be playing on this team as long as I live. And if you don't agree with that, we'll be happy to find other arrangements for you. That was the ultimate ultimatum to give the players in that moment. If you didn't have the players surrounding Jackie with the conviction that they did, Branch Rickey, Leo DeRocher, guys like that, even Ford Frick.
Probably doesn't happen.
Yeah. Guys like that. If you don't have the guys with the conviction around him and following him and attached to Jackie, then the legacy doesn't build the way it does.
Right.
And then the impact doesn't materialize the way it does.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from what Jackie has done and did for the game, but you always need help. You ask anybody who's ever made an impact on anything, you get help along the way. It's important to find people to help you along the way. But the main point is Jackie was good enough. And that's, DeRocher, what the manager was trying to get through to the players in the movie, Kyle. For 7 straight years, Jackie had over 100 hits. He had 203 hits in 1949. Not to go too stat nerd with you guys, okay? But 100 hits, I mean, is a heck of an accomplishment in his season, let alone 203 in his MVP year. So Jackie is an interesting story because, yes, he had help along the way. Yes,
that's not enough.
Yes,
that's enough. It means you had a lot of people that were looking to kind of reinvent baseball, and if you want to complain left and right about expanding the progression, the next steps forward for equality and everything like that, these are the type of people that you need. Because if you are so wrapped up in the tradition attached to it, then guys like Branch Rickey, guys like Leo DeRocher, guys like Jackie Robinson, they don't exist.
Exactly.
You need people to take those crucial first steps. And on top of that, you need somebody who has the conviction as a person, as a family man like Jackie Robinson was, to withstand all of this and to not act stoop down to their level.
I could only imagine the hate mail and what people would say to him on a daily basis.
Hit to his face.
That's right. But back in the day, Kyle, when we wrote letters, can you imagine some of the stuff that Jackie Robinson was getting? And to your point, too, in his grill, a visit, away stadiums, it was a lot, man. It was a lot. And for him to put the burden on himself and really push forward, I thought is probably the best part of the story.
And the amount of great civil rights activists, sports and non-sports, that he was attached to throughout his career. He was stationed in the Army with Joe Louis, who famously fought Max Schmeling in the 1938, at Yankee Stadium, who was a German representing the Nazis, and Joe Louis, who was a black heavyweight champion representing kind of the USA in a way, who was a pioneer in the boxing realm. And then he had connections to Bill Russell. He had connections to Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, the whole thing. He was as in the mix in terms of racial steps forward, society, sports, the whole thing. It should go without said that this guy deserves a day and then some, honored after him in the MLB. And I love talking about his career, because it was a short-lived career, but it was an impactful career. And it was a career where he sort of had his ebbs and flows as a player, but it's almost like the legacy precedes itself, and the image and the character precedes itself entirely. That's just how important
it's a great history lesson for kids like us, Kyle. For people who don't necessarily know the era, who don't really know racism, who didn't grow up with it, to understand, hey, this stuff was happening, and this guy was the absolute pioneer that led the way to make a change. And obviously nothing's perfect still to this day. But
and you can't even forget about the other guys who followed him. Larry Doby, who made his debut with the Cleveland Indians on the American League right after him.
Right.
Who broke the barriers. It was in 47 he did it as well.
Right, and there were a lot of other players too. There were a lot of other players that helped along the way as well, but Jackie's the one that we think about.
And Satchel Paige, who was also playing in the Negro Leagues at the time. And, people wanted to be the first, because the first you had to take it, but they weren't finding the best player. Jackie probably wasn't even the best player in the Negro Leagues in those mid-40s. He probably wasn't. The best player was, Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, the whole thing. But it was Branch Rickey who made the decision not only to get a good player who added something to the Dodgers as a team, but somebody who could withstand the level of abuse that he was going to take in as it continued on. Really. You got pioneers all around attached to the Jackie Robinson story. We are attached to the Jackie Robinson training complex at the moment, where some single-A ball will tee off tonight at 6:42. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you. Jackie Robinson Day. In terms of powerful sports, in memoriams, memorializing the whole thing, I think baseball does it above the rest. I think baseball does it above the crowd. I think baseball knows how to honor its history better than any other sport. What do you think? 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. Is baseball sort of the best at honoring with tradition and giving sense to its history? I think basketball can take notes. I think NFL can take notes. I think a lot of sports can take notes in terms of how well baseball memorializes, how well baseball honors its history. Let us know. 888-760-3776, some of your favorite traditions in sports, and is baseball the best in the bunch at doing this? That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you, Damian Perez with us on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Miami, get ready for high-intensity baseball as your Marlins take on Shohei Ohtani and the World Series champion Dodgers at Lone Depot Park, May 5th through 7th. This action-packed series promises edge-of-your-seat excitement as your fish face off against the defending champs. Experience the electric atmosphere in this thrilling National League matchup. Tickets are selling fast. Secure your seats today at marlins.com/tickets.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo rolling on here on ESPN 106.3 with Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Perez helping us out as always at Holman Stadium at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex up in Vero Beach, Florida, where you got the Palm Beach Cardinals taking on the Clearwater Thrashers tonight, 6:42 p.m. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are the type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. And don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today. Let's not play any games. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life today. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. That's 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. All right, I don't know if I'm going to be breaking a couple laws here.
Okay, well, what's going on?
There's something about admitting guilt. So first thing, we're going to have a conversation here. This is all hypothetical. I know nothing for certain.
Okay.
When we drove up here, I was with one of our part-timers, Sam, and
so you and hang on, let me set the scene. You and Sam in the station vehicle.
We have to drive up here.
Okay.
We have this fancy desk that we have.
Sports desk. It's beautiful.
Which you got 4 big boxes for, so you got to load. We have a pickup truck. You got to load the back of the truck, right? So we got an hour, 25-ish minute drive. And so we load up the truck with the part of the table.
Okay.
And so the table's in these big fancy boxes. You do those first. And you're sitting on a chair right now that is formatted like a director's chair.
It's
like
great.
a director's chair, you put it on a movie set, right?
It's great.
And it's got ESPN West Palm on the back. It's branded. It's cool. We love it. If you notice on the video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, I am standing. And no, it's not that. I didn't forget anything. So here's what I think happened. Somehow, some way, we packed 3 chairs.
Okay. So
I know this for a fact. I would put any amount of money that there was 3 chairs in the back of that car. They have these little zip-up things that you put on, and you sort of lock them in around the bed of the truck.
Even a little more context, Christina Costanzo, you could hear her on Theoretically Speaking with the happy hour from 3 to 4. She's our marketing director of marketing, and she got 4 brand new chairs.
Right.
Director's chairs. These are brand new.
These are probably 2 months old.
Folks, Christina probably got these things not even a month and a half ago.
Yeah, 2 months. I would say 2 months old. So these things are 2 months old.
Brand new.
The price point is probably not pretty. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
So,
hefty penny.
So Sam and I, who we're having a good time, talking about movies a little bit, the whole thing. We got this hour and 20-minute drive. You're going on 95 basically the whole way. You take like about 4 total turns from downtown West Palm at the City Play Studios up until Vero Beach. That's it. So we get here, and we have a bin, like a big old bin with a bunch of marketing stuff in it. We have the big boxes for the desk. We have some other things that it's all good, all in there.
Yeah.
And the problem is we didn't notice this until about 20 minutes after we parked the car. There's only 1 chair.
Wait.
What do you mean there's only 1 chair?
You packed it.
I'm like, Sam, I asked him. We were over at a different spot setting up the table. I'm like, where's the other chairs? I'm like, did we leave them over there? Like, because we went to 2 different spots at the stadium to set up. And he goes, 2 other chairs? What are you talking about? Sam says this. I'm like, wait, we just had this moment where, what do you mean the 2 other chairs? I'm 75% sure that between West Palm and Vero Beach, 2 of the 3 chairs we had in the back of this truck vanished. And vanished in the sense of either they flew out the back.
I mean, that's exactly what happened.
Or somebody took us for a ride at a red light and decided to take, which I lean on this side.
No.
I think
Who was driving the vehicle?
Sam was.
So, Sam, partner, if you're driving the vehicle, you got to have enough know-how. You got your mirrors on the right and left side. You got your back mirror.
Here.
I'm calling negligence, bud. I'm saying for it. If someone at the
got robbed, hey, we might have professionals.
If someone stole 2, first off, you know how that's ridiculous at so many levels.
Disagree.
They know exactly.
You see an ESPN truck?
No.
You're thinking, what type of fancy stuff they got in the
know.
truck?
Hang on. You're telling me they know exactly what to grab. They know. Oh God, those are
if they knew to grab, they'd get the sports desk.
So at a red light in Vero Beach, you're telling me some hillbilly in a pickup truck goes, "Hey man." Some hillbilly in a pickup truck goes, "Hey, man, those are those ESPN West Palm director's chairs. They know exactly what they're stealing. Guys, they flew out on 95. Let's call it for what it is.
Well, how come
they flew out on 95?
If they flew out on 95, Christian Cat, who was 10 minutes behind us, if those things flew out on 95, 888-760-3776. If you witnessed this and you saw something happen going northbound on 95 between 11 and 12:30 p.m. earlier today, then let us know, please. 888-760-3776.
How fast were you?
I don't buy it, because here's the thing. We structured the chairs. We put one on top. This one was not the most secure thing in the world.
Okay,
I'll admit
you botched it. You botched it.
Please.
You just admitted it.
Hold on. That's one of them. There's 2 of them. The other one was, I've done this 1,000 times. I've loaded this truck 1,000 times. You put the chair and you lodge it in between the sports desk boxes and the edge of the truck bed. And it's locked in. That's not going anywhere. It's behind also the body of the truck. You're not going to pick up a lot of wind, and it's not going to get underneath. These things are also like 20 pounds. It's not like it's a sail, and it's going to take it for a ride. It's not like it's a tent at the beach, and it's going to run away. This is things in a little zip-up container that had no opportunity to pick up any wind. I do not buy it.
If this chair flew out on 95, guys, it could do some serious damage.
It didn't fly out on 95.
It could do some serious damage.
We got robbed.
You did not get robbed.
ESPN West Palm, I think this is the first time in station history.
No. Do you want to know what I think actually happened? So you told me you guys set up at a different spot, right? It wasn't this. So the spot that I'm sitting in right now, and the one director chair that managed to make it to the setup, you were at a different setup setting up before you came over here. It's over there. You just got to retrace your steps.
You don't think we checked around the stadium?
No, I don't think you did your.
So please, we retraced our steps. We went back to 95. We took the wrong direction about 4 miles that way. We walked around the entire stadium. It is not here.
Did you guys? So what I'm.
It is not here. They did not come out of the truck.
I'm assuming what happened was when you went to set up at that first spot you were at, you went, all right, let me just take the chairs out real quick, and you set them down and you forgot about them. I guarantee you, if you go up to some administration level here at the beautiful Jackie Robinson training facility,
you have no idea.
They're going to, if you go, hey, is there a lost and found? Did you guys find 2 bags that had chairs in them? It's probably there.
I disagree.
Probably there.
No, it's not.
It's probably there.
What tells you that?
Because I'm not buying it because
they were not in the truck. That I know for a fact. They were not inside the truck.
You know how ridiculous it sounds that someone robbed the truck in traffic.
I don't
some
think that's
hillbilly.
Ridiculous. I don't think that's
some
ridiculous.
hillbilly in a broken down.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
Sounded like Sebulba's pod racer.
I don't think so.
Pulled
it
up
been in West Palm.
Come on, man.
Red light.
Come on, man. You guys aren't that negligent that you can't see someone digging around in the bed of the truck. I refuse.
Hold on, but the same level of negligence that takes it flying out on 95 and us not getting honked at, us not noticing in the rearview mirrors, when both of us were not blaring music, we were just having a casual, chatty conversation.
So
we didn't see it fly out the back. Not only 1, but 2.
Who at the station knows? Dude, did we tell? Who at
the station knows? We're doing it on the station right now, so if they don't know, they know now.
Well, what I mean, you got it. We
got 2 missing chairs.
You got to text Mike Jones. You got to text Mike Jones, who is our marketing facilitator, and you have to ask him and go, "Hey, Mike, can you look around the office for these chairs?" Because
what a brilliant idea! If only we did that 4.5 hours
I got
ago.
A text.
Mike Jones said I haven't found anything.
Someone. These chairs, man, you guys got some real issues transporting these chairs. I got a text 3 days ago. Hey, Riz, is there a director chair in your trunk in your car? No, there's not. What's going on? You guys, we can't keep track of these chairs. What's going on?
You're
here?
the one sitting in them too. You don't say you're without blame here.
Listen.
I don't know where these chairs are. I'm going to be honest. I think West Palm is caught in a whiff that these chairs are a hot commodity.
Hang on.
And it's like stealing the Mona Lisa at this point. You got to do it. You got to do it once.
Kyle, I got alibis. Before I left the beautiful West Palm studios, I texted you and I texted Christian. I go, hey, boys, I'm about to leave. Do I need to grab anything? I got the all clear. Stephanie Prince, our general manager, is right beside me. I looked at her and our boss Brian Rowitz.
I'm not blaming you.
I go, hey, time to go.
I'm not blaming myself or Sam either. I am blaming the criminals that staked out the ESPN West Palm truck, that staked out our schedule, and managed to steal 2 chairs.
What I think could have happened is you guys packed the truck. And listen, I've packed this truck multiple times as well. Sometimes you pack the truck and you let it sit there for like 5 minutes.
Didn't happen.
How long was the truck packed? And how long was
240 seconds. You don't if somebody managed to do that in the 240 seconds, the 4 minutes that we had, you don't think they're professionals?
So you're telling
then we're dealing with professionals.
So you're saying there are professional.
No, I'm not saying that. It could be at a red light. It could be anywhere. I don't have any answers. What the problem is, either if they flew out on 95, Christian Cat, who was driving within 10 minutes after us. 10 minutes. He would have found it.
I'll tell you what.
We would have saw it.
We got 2 sheriffs heading up the. Should we ask them? Hey, did anyone get a windshield hit on 95? You trying to?
Didn't happen. Listen, I don't know how it was secure. They were all secure. I packed it the same way 100 times. It was not even, listen, I'm not deflecting blame here, but it was packed the same.
Someone
and it flew out.
The sad part is
flew out or it was taken out.
Someone is taking the fall. Someone is taking the fall for this because listen, it might involve money missing from paychecks the next time around. Kyle, these are they're pretty expensive, bud.
That's not how that works. I don't think that's how it works.
You don't get
that the process.
It's not coming out of your pocket.
I think somewhere in my contract it says I am not liable for somebody stealing something within the office.
So you truly think that
I think there is more of a chance that
there is
than they were flown out. That's how confident I am that has not happened in the 100 miles we drove up.
You just told me that you did a botch of a job in packing one of the chairs.
I didn't say I did a botch of the job. I did say it was secure, but maybe not. It wasn't locked down. I didn't get bungees and tie it to the bottom, but it was locked in.
Tina,
I've done it 1,000 times.
All right, so Christina Costanza, our marketing, our director of marketing, and on-air host for Theoretically Speaking, 3 to 4, the happy hour. She's in studio and she wants to jump on with us. Tina, if you could hear me,
wow.
Tina, if you could hear me, you're on with Russo and Rizzo. It's great to hear you on this show. We rarely ever have you on the show. Tina, what happened to the chairs? What's going on?
I do want to know why I rarely get to join Russo and Rizzo. I feel like there's multiple conversations I could pop in on.
Hang on. Let me handle this one.
I could pop in on.
Let me handle this one.
I could pop in on.
Let me handle this one. Tina, let me handle that first. You literally told Colin Russo and I to our face that we are crazy and you don't like coming onto the show. So
you took offense to that, not Colin.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Tina. So here's the little background. Tina's our director of marketing. She's like a
jack of all trades.
Yeah, she's a Swiss Army knife in terms of all of her talents. The problem is, her problem now is these missing chairs.
It really is.
This is a Tina Costanza problem. And Tina, what side do you believe? I'm sure you've heard the story. We had a conversation earlier. I think these are stolen more so than the two separately packed chairs on a truck bed on the way from West Palm to Vero Beach, which I've packed 1,000 times, did not manage to fly out, and two guys sitting in the passengers with both access to rearview windows did not see it. So what's your perspective here?
Well, yes, this is now my problem to figure out how I now have 3 chairs missing out of the 5 that I had. I had 5 total director's chairs, and in 1 hour, we have 3 missing. I also,
Colin... No, Tina, hang on. In 1 hour, you got 1.
Oh, there's another one back at the office, so there's 2. There's 2 total. There's 2 out of 5.
There's 2 total, yes. There's 1 that didn't fly out, and for some reason, someone wanted to steal 2, but not 3 of them. You also said, Colin, to me on the phone today, you go, I don't know how, if they flew out of the truck, I wouldn't have seen it in my peripheral vision because
that is not what I said. You are misquoting this entirely. What I said is my peripheral vision would have spiked because I would have seen these things fly out of who doesn't
You also said someone would have honked. Don't you think if someone stole it, which I also asked you, I said, did you stop anywhere on the way to Vero Beach? You said no.
No.
Do you think you would have felt someone jump in the bed of the truck and take them, but not feel something fly out?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, what about at a red light?
You don't think you would have felt someone jumping in the bed of the truck to grab them?
We're at a red light. We're making sure the engine's good. We're making sure
we have a tiny truck. You would have felt it shake.
Call it for what it is, Tina. You're on my side. This is incompetence. This is incompetence in the sense of it was a botched pack job. Those chairs are sitting on the edge of 95.
Why didn't you see him driving up? Tell me why. Why didn't you see him driving up?
Thank the heavens.
Did you see him, yes or no?
Tina,
did you see him, yes or no, Mike?
Tina.
Did you see him, yes or no? Oh, so
I wasn't looking for him.
We got 3 guys who drove up after us.
I wasn't looking for him.
Let's bring in somebody else on this.
You didn't tell me to look for him.
So this is interesting. So we got Tina Costanza, who's our director of marketing, who's, I guess, the main component. This is her problem. This is her issue now.
Correct.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, and now I'd like to welcome in. I didn't even know he was cleared to be on air.
Yeah, is he cleared? Is he cleared?
But his name is Mike Jones. He's a partnership coordinator for ESPN West Palm, and this is somebody who packed the truck with me.
All right, so
I didn't want to say it, but now that he called in, you're welcome into the
part of the incompetence.
Welcome into the fold. Mike Jones, welcome into the program. Give us your thoughts.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I feel like we got to paint this picture for Rizzo. We got to, paint it clear. Colin, you and I, we packed that truck, and I watched. There was 3 chairs at the back of there, were there not?
God. There was 3 chairs.
So
I can guarantee.
They are on 95, Tina.
So I watched Colin drive away in the truck with Sam, and I'm like, okay, we're all good. They're heading out to Vero. About an hour later, I get a phone call, and it's, first off, don't be mad, but you're never going to believe this, as Colin starts giggling.
Of course he did.
I never thought I would hear the word.
Of course he did. It's hysterical.
The chairs were there to begin with, but, Mike, they are no longer here. I don't know where they are. So we start piecing 2 and 2 together. They're somewhere on 95. I go and tell Christina, and she was giving me the biggest smile, but I couldn't tell if she was ready to pounce on me and beat me over the head with her Jimmy John sandwich she was eating, or if she was laughing at the fact that no one else in this company besides Colin Russo could make 2 director's chairs jump up out of the bed of a truck and fly out.
And now
it wouldn't happen, Mike. You packed that with me. That wouldn't happen. Not both of those. Not 2 crying. One maybe. 2 miracles don't happen in one car ride.
Mike Jones, he's saying there's a crime. He's saying someone robbed him. He's been robbed. I got 2 sheriffs here. Maybe we should file a claim.
Maybe we should.
Should I hit the sheriffs?
Mike, where do you stand?
I'll be walking up and down the street.
Dude, first off, let me get this in. Those chairs, Colin, without a doubt in my mind. They are on the highway on 95, and hopefully a good Samaritan has thrown them to the side of the curb.
Tina, you think these flew out on 95?
I totally think these flew out on 95.
Both of them?
Yes.
Now, Mike
dude.
Jones, who actually saw the bed of the truck, who's not just coming up and delivering this off of fabrication and imagination. Mike Jones actually saw how the bed of that truck was packed. You think you could
botched packing.
One chair we could have a conversation about. Two, Mike Jones, your thoughts?
I'm just saying there is no way those things just grew a pair of wings and flew off the truck. I'm saying there is some external factor that I cannot fathom of what exactly happened to those chairs. But
ignorance, Mike, no, not external factor.
Crime.
Mike, hang on,
It's
Mike,
crime.
hang on. Not external factor. Pure ignorance
It's
by the
crime.
two
It's
people in the
criminals.
vehicle.
It's criminals.
Pure. So you're
There
telling
is a ring of
Tina, let me put
within
this.
West Palm that are trying
Christina,
to bleed West Palm dry, especially ESPN West Palm. Maybe it's the guys at the previous event that we somehow lost the other thing at, and they got a feel for it. They're like, hold on a second, this is great. There's more of these? Let's get more.
Let me put this in perspective. Colin thinks that this is like the movie The Italian Job.
It's like the Ocean's 11. We got Danny Ocean. You don't want one casino. You want all three.
Tomato. The Italian Job, Ocean's 11. There are professional robbers that are staking out ESPN West Palm for a $300 director chair. Guys, you lost. It flew out on 95. You, Mike Jones, and Sam need to man up and say, yeah, we botched the packing process.
I'm not going to run away with it.
And listen, and it's on us.
I'm going to allow for a due process and a full internal investigation. Not on me, but on the situation.
But the fact that you think. The fact that you.
Go ahead, Mike.
This just hit me. I don't know why this didn't hit me sooner. Why is the guy who has no furniture in his apartment not looking in his own apartment? Who's not saying that Colin took these for his own use?
Yeah,
those
it's
are
an
nice
inside
chairs.
job.
He doesn't have any furniture in the living room.
Tina,
I didn't steal these.
Tina, it makes sense.
I got Sam. I got an
Tina,
alibi.
it makes sense. Him and Sam, it's an inside job. Sam took the other one. Colin took one as well. It's an inside job.
Nothing makes sense about these chairs. I believe that they flew out, and I really hope that it did not damage anyone's vehicle.
Well, I think we would hear a honk or two.
You would hear a honk. Obviously, you didn't hear a honk, Colin.
No, and honestly, Tina, God only knows what Colin was talking about with Sam at the time. Ancient
I don't know
history.
if I could say it on air.
Ancient. I heard ancient history. World War II was being involved.
We broke down World War II. We broke down the siege of Leningrad. True story. We broke down the Battle of the Bulge. We broke down a lot, and it was interesting.
So, Tina, forgive me for thinking
General
that
Patton,
they were in an hour.
The South invasion of Italy.
In an hour and 30-minute drive that they were, locked in on what was happening at the back of the truck. Like you said, Tina, I really hope I hope that chair didn't end up in someone's back seat.
888-760-3776. Please call us and let us know if you found these chairs or if you know the criminals attached to the siege of these chairs. Christina Costanza and Mike Jones joining us. Mike Jones, we appreciate you giving us the time. I didn't know you were on air cleared. Is this are you walking between the lines here? Did you ask for permission? Give me a sense.
I saw the number on the screen, and I figured I got to call and make sure everybody understands what happened.
Well, I'm sure Stephanie, our general manager, if he's not cleared, there will be conversations. But I think that's the one you got to worry about, guys. Is
Tina,
Stephanie?
What are the steps? What are steps from here? You run this marketing department. What are the steps from here? What do we do?
Well, the steps from here. Also, when I was told about this, I do think there was an expected reaction out of me that I was going to be livid and maybe shouting or something. When
I agree with this.
I really was. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I go, you're kidding, right? I did not think what was about to be told to me, that's what was coming. I could have never guessed that. For me, I'm trying to track down one of the chairs that y'all, I guess, left somewhere possibly a few weeks ago. And then these other chairs, I told Brian Rowitz he's actually on his way up to Fort Pierce Central to cover a girls' flag football game. He was going to look for them on the side of the road on 95, and I go,
They're not there. When he doesn't find them, then what are we going to say?
I don't even want to know if you find them or not. They're destroyed.
So when he doesn't find them, then what?
We're out of 2 chairs, Colin. What do you mean? I got to get more chairs.
Tina, because of Colin and Sam's negligence and incompetence, Brian Rowitz is going to have to drive on the left side of the highway for an hour. Not only keeping an eye on
the
traffic,
left side anyway, but
not only keeping an eye on traffic, but for the chairs that you and our buddy Sam lost over here. Tina,
you didn't see it coming up. How about you?
You didn't tell me.
Peeled on the road.
You didn't tell me to look for it, bud.
What, you wouldn't have seen the chair on the middle of the highway?
Dude, first off, the chair is zipped up in a bag. It wouldn't have dawned on me that that is
a bad job.
That is the director chair.
Mike Rizzo wasn't paying attention on the road, and he didn't notice. Hey, hold on a second. I would know the ESPN West Palm director.
This is on you,
from
mate.
A mile away.
I'll tell you what.
Oh my God, there they are.
This
I
is
go pick them up.
This is on this is on you, mate. This is on you and Sam and Tina. I'm gonna leave this situation to you.
Yeah, well, I have to figure this out. I have to get more chairs. I'm really hoping that this other missing chair is found. But, yeah, now it's on me. I got to purchase new chairs. Thank you very much, Colin.
Your problem, but Sam and I will do our due diligence, our own internal investigation to find those responsible and to bring them to justice. Tina, we appreciate you joining us. Mike Jones, we appreciate you guys joining us. Members and partners and teammates over here at ESPN West Palm, missing chairs that somehow escaped. If you were the criminals, the syndicate associated with stealing these chairs, please call in. Let us know. 888-760-3776.
You compared the chairs being stolen to the Mona Lisa.
It is. People want to steal it. There's something to that.
Colin.
There's something to this. Mona Lisa has been stolen hundreds of times.
Stop it.
It might be the new thing. It might be the new thing in South Florida.
Things are in a ditch on the highway.
We got to roll on. If Brian Rhodes doesn't find it, you can't look at me and say they're on the road anymore. If he doesn't find it on the road, I don't know where to go from here.
He's juggling going 80 miles an hour.
Mike, is it that hard to believe that they just vanished?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think it's that hard. I'm
Listen,
close.
I'm
closer to that than flying out of the highway.
I am a believer in theme, magic, and mojo, but there's a point. There's a point where I draw the line. This is incompetence.
888-760-3776, the number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo. Is this negligence?
Incompetence.
Am I in a lot of trouble here? Did somebody steal it? Have you heard of this syndicate? Have you lost chairs recently? 888-760-3776. We take a time out here, right here on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur. And most certainly, never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
The new Spring Blizzard menu is here at DQ Grill & Chill. Cue the confetti! The Blizzard of the month is the Confetti Cake Blizzard, a delightful blend of confetti cake pieces and confetti frosting, mixed perfectly with DQ's world-famous soft serve. The Confetti Cake Blizzard, just part of the new Spring Blizzard menu, which also features s'mores, cotton candy, and 2 brand new blizzards, dipped strawberry cheesecake, and mixing bowl mashup. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Introducing the bold, the powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P360 SE. A luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $12.99 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $12.99 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo rolling on here on ESPN 106.3, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter /X at ESPN West Palm with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damian Perez. Damian Perez, we haven't gotten your thoughts here, but somehow, some way, 2 chairs on the way up to Vero Beach at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex up in Vero Beach for a little single-A action today in light of Jackie Robinson Day throughout the MLB and Major League Baseball and baseball generally, sports in generally. 2 chairs, director's chairs that we have at our setup on remotes, disappeared. Disappeared because that is the only way to describe it. These things are gone. You've heard the whole story. Damian Perez, loop us in. Give us your perspective on this saga.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? First of all, Colin, you're a genius. If this is the way you broke it to the station, I think this was the best way of breaking it, kind of breaking the fall. But with that being said, there's no way they flew out of the bed of the truck. There's no way.
No way?
I don't think.
I agree with this.
I mean, similar to you, I've packed that truck on events.
How about 1? How about 1, not 2?
Right. The odds of that is just extremely diminished. But
it's too much.
But I also think it's crazy
please,
to think.
Hang on. Dame, please stop entertaining this craziness. They flew out. They botched the packing process, and they're on the highway somewhere.
But then
I also heard in the break.
Yeah.
I also heard in the break there was a wide turn on their way to Vero. There was a wide turn.
The wide turn from Okeechobee getting onto 95. We've all done it going northbound. It's not a wide enough turn where something out of a bed of a pickup truck is going to fly out.
Guys, I am no longer entertaining thieves. I am no longer entertaining.
Damien,
See, I don't think they were stolen either. I just think they're somewhere there. They're somewhere tucked off in the corner.
I think
you just can't find them.
Yeah. So and what I told these guys, if you remember, Dame, when this whole thing started, I said, wait a minute. You guys started setting up at another location. They have to be there. A good Samaritan maybe picked them up and said, hey, these are just lying around. I'm gonna turn them into the lost and found. Did we ask an administrative person here at the Jackie Robinson training facility?
There was nobody here when we were checking. There was 0 people here.
How long?
It's not about not checking. There was 0 people here. There was nothing to look for. We've been to 3 total spots.
When you went from the old spot you thought you were setting up at to the new spot, how much time did it take? How much time did it take you to realize that, hey, the chairs are missing?
There was probably a 15-minute period from
Dude, that's plenty of time,
You don't understand. We were in the first baseline, then the third baseline, then back to the first baseline, and then back to and we're setting up here. That's it.
All right.
Kevin in Lake Worth joins Russo and Rizzo, 888-760-3776.
Maybe he found the chairs. He found the chairs.
Kevin, have you found the chairs?
I'm sorry, guys. I have not found the chairs, but I just have to touch on the whole thieves situation, and that basically what Colin is saying is that somebody got out of their car right next to you guys, jumped into the back, got 2 chairs, just decided to take 2 of the 3 chairs, all while he's talking about the game plan of George Patton being on a different beach when the invasion was really coming over to Normandy.
Kevin knows his history. Kevin knows it.
Hang on. Yeah. Kevin is on my side. Keep going, Kevin.
Right. So this is where you got to keep going on this, Mike, and say that is negligent by all of that transpired all at the same time, and it's just negligence.
Pure negligence. But
Kevin, you think it's the hardest thing in the world to believe? Just as much as 2 chairs flying out in some capacity, you think it's that hard to believe that there's a crime syndicate targeting ESPN West Palm trying to get their chairs? Have you lost any chairs recently to thieves? Give me a sense.
I mean, I have. I have, those nice little plastic chairs. I was down at the Hurricane game. We decided, you know what? Let's just put it under the truck. We got a little lazy there, and those bad boys were gone quicker than the pre-game
So Kevin, let me get this straight.
that we had.
So Kevin, let me get this straight.
You're not helping, Kev.
Your negligence. You want to say negligence? I'm going to say negligence. Your negligence allowed a crime syndicate.
Yeah.
To get a hold of your chairs.
I wouldn't call it.
And it's impossible to believe that
it was
off of good criminals. These are skilled criminals.
Kev, forgive me for thinking it was a bunch of drunkards at the Miami game that just needed somewhere to sit and they stole your chairs. There is no correlation between what happened. Where did the Canes play? Miami Gardens. What happened in Miami Gardens and 2.5 hours north here in Vero Beach. Okay, Kevin, those things are on the side of 95, and I pray to God no one got hit.
Well, I also didn't turn to my dad and go, "Oh, well, I have no blame in this whatsoever. It's the criminals out in the world. I should have been fine just putting them under the truck."
Kevin, so you think
you're crazy? Yes.
You think I should be blamed here? That's what you're saying?
What I would do is say, Tina, I apologize. Let me take you out for a nice 2-for-1 at Duffy's. And
nice plug, Kevin.
Come on, guys.
Nice plug,
Fair enough, Kev.
Instead of breaking down
the
Battle of the Atlantic, or what's the history?
Here's
man.
the interesting thing about General Patton. General Patton was crucial in redirecting the German defense onto where the actual invasion of the southern coast of France is going to be.
Correct.
Where was he going? Where was D-Day going to take place? Was it going to take place at Normandy Beach? Where's it going? And he was a big part.
It was him and Eisenhower, right?
In the redirects.
It was him and Eisenhower, right? It was him and Eisenhower. They didn't know what the Axis forces didn't know what day it was going to come. They surprised them.
It was Beach.
It was supposed to be a day.
Patton was involved with that because
Right.
Patton was a savvy general, and we were breaking that down. I do not
while Colin was breaking down the war hero of General Patton. A crime syndicate that is stealing chairs from ESPN West Palm jumped into the back of the pickup truck, robbed Colin and our part-timer Sam blind, and yeah.
You know what we were talking about?
Colin, it's ridiculous. You sound ridiculous.
The moments of why Germany lost the war. We were talking about the big mishaps of why they lost the war. It was interesting. It was a good discussion. No way, no opportunity for chairs to fly. We would have noticed. Appreciate Chick-fil-A here over at Jackie Robinson Training
Complex.
Thank
you, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A helped us out. They gave us a little bit of
fuel
of an update.
Not that you deserved it.
No,
you deserve no dinner.
No.
You deserve no dinner tonight.
Appreciate Chick-fil-A. I don't know if they needed the plug on ESPN West Palm. It's like, shouting out the Eiffel Tower. But we give Chick-fil-A all the credit in the world right here up in Vero Beach. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you. We take a timeout. We got a little 5 and 5 coming up on the flip side of things. Stick around for it. On the NBA side of things, we're going to get into who has the most to gain, not player, but team. Teams and players, actually. Who has the most to gain, most to lose. NBA playoffs basically tipping off tonight, tipping off Saturday, if you want to call it like that. We'll get into that and more next. Second hour of Russo and Rizzo coming up right here on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you could drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sportsbook. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Good people. Steele Dorsey.
May the force be with you.
Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is hosting Star Wars Night on Saturday, April 26th at 6 p.m. Come see the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals face off in a galaxy not too far away. Take pictures with your favorite movie characters and enjoy the fireworks after the game. To purchase tickets and to find out more information, stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking? Lamar Jackson is going to go down as the single greatest regular season quarterback of all time. The man who has won a Heisman and 2 MVPs in the league. I don't say that disparagingly about what he has been in the postseason, which he would even admit is not up to par, 3-5 all time. The winning in the postseason is going to determine whether or not we think of him as a top 5 player, and he won't rest until he gets a Lombardi with the Ravens.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2 here on ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez helping us out back at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We are live up in Vero Beach at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex where you got a little bit of single A action in spirit of Jackie Robinson Day. April the 15th, 1947, the late great Jackie Robinson made his debut in Major Leagues, officially eliminating the color barrier between the Negro Leagues and Major League Baseball, and went on to have a storied career, one of the most impactful, influential, and important pieces in sports. Not even just sports, society's history. A true pioneer, a true trailblazer, and I love how baseball takes a full day for the entire league to honor him. A big shout out there. We love how the MLB does that. 42. Nobody wears it until everybody does on April 15th. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you. If you're missing any of the show today, you want to listen back, listen in podcast format on Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Damian Press helping us out. Let's do a little 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Well, it's the 5 at 5, the Mike Rizzo edition of the 5 at 5. And folks, I promise you, we are actually being very productive today. We are at the Jackie Robinson Training Facility. And if you were listening earlier in the show, Colin botched it by losing 3 very expensive chairs, but for a good cause. Because
Two.
There is still a chair missing that Christina Costanza is still trying to locate, neither here nor there. We're at the beautiful Jackie Robinson Training Facility today. We got High A ball coming up tonight as well. It's Jackie Robinson Day all around the MLB. 42s are going to be wearing all night. One of my favorite days of the baseball calendar is today. Kyle, obviously we know the person and hero, American hero that Jackie Robinson is. He's on a level of his own. But if we can, is there any athlete in another sport that we could compare Jackie Robinson to? In the NBA, in the NFL, hockey, is there someone like Jackie Robinson out there in other sports?
Well, the true peer is probably Bill Russell. Bill Russell was just as much of a social and a racial activist as he was an excellent basketball player. This is somebody who decided to end his career in 1969 and move on. He wanted to do things involving racial justice and everything like that. Bill Russell was somebody who paved the way for a lot of black players in the NBA. It was not necessarily the most it was a frowned upon subject because he was so great, they almost got away with it. St. Louis Hawks actually were the last team in the NBA to be integrated, and that was a big little rivalry there. There was a time where the Celtics and the I want to say the Knicks were playing in Lexington, Kentucky. I believe this is 1962 because Cousy was still there. And they didn't let the black players stay in the hotel with the white players. And to the Celtics, to not their credit, they still played the game while the black players went back to Boston. Bill Russell took them all. There was 5 players on the team and said, hey, we're getting out of here. Satch Sanders being one of them, Sam Jones, Casey Jones, a lot of great all-time greats, but that was the type of situations that they dealt with frequently as well. It dealt with at an NBA level, and they still won games, but Bill Russell helped clear the way because, funny enough, that team won 11 championships in 13 years. That Boston Garden, which seats a whole lot more, was probably selling 7,000-8,000 a night. That was a hockey town.
Right.
That was a Bruins town. And it wasn't really until Dave Cowens got there in the 70s, won an MVP in 74, that they really started filling up the Boston Garden. They filled up for the playoffs, but the regular season, and it was because of the amount of black players that Red Auerbach maintained to play. And Red Auerbach was a big component of that as well. He made a white player and a black player room together in training camp and throughout the season. And just stuff like that. And you need pioneers attached to the player. Red Auerbach is being one of them. You know, he wasn't great when Bird got to town, but still. One thing about that is Bill Russell, Red Auerbach kind of went hand in hand in that regard. Jackie Robinson, Branch Rickey, Leo DeRocher kind of went hand in hand in that department. You need somebody to associate themselves with the athlete because they can take them so much farther. If you got somebody who's thinking progressively, that makes the world of a difference. So Bill Russell will be my answer in a long form.
Let's do number 2, Damian Perez.
Number 2.
Speaking of the NBA, Kyle, we got the play-in tournament tonight. Hawks and Magic, Grizzlies and the Warriors. Give me your intrigue level in watching these games tonight. Hawks Magic at 7:30 on TNT, And then the Western Conference, as I said, Grizzlies and Warriors coming up at 10.
So my perspective is I want the best playoff format field possible. Therefore, I think the best series, yeah, it'd be good to see a little OKC Golden State action, but I think you don't want to lose Golden State that early. I think having Houston Golden State is that 2-7 matchup, so if Golden State were to win tonight, I think that would be the best possible scenario for the NBA, for the Western Conference, because I think Houston Warriors would have a lot of intrigue to it. Because then you got Lakers T-Wolves, you got Clippers Nuggets, you got a lot of good series there. The Grizzlies, they stink. They got my over, so praise to them. But firing their coach, 48 wins. Hey, think about it. I'm calling them terrible, but they got 48 wins.
Right.
I'm under the perspective that I'm rooting for the Golden State to have a chance to play Houston instead of OKC. I think it'd be better for the league, so that's who I'm going to root for.
Agreed. And I think Golden State is going to win tonight. I think they are, a star-ridden team with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and company
usually
as
great
well.
to play in, but they got Jimmy Butler, who's great to play in. So they got him right there.
Yeah, and I think they're two star-studded, and there's something about when Memphis and Golden State play each other. If you remember, let's rewind a few years back when the Grizzlies and Ja Morant, before all the distractions that Ja was, that was a pretty up-and-coming rivalry because Memphis didn't really care that Golden State was the team that beat, that they've won championships.
54 wins.
They were getting in the ear of the Golden State players, and Draymond goes, wait a minute here. All right, we've won 3 titles. Do something first before you talk to us. So I think there's that history there. There's the history of Ja toting fake guns to the bench for Golden State earlier this year as well. I think tonight's going to be a fun game with Golden State and Memphis. Other than Golden State, though, Colin, I couldn't care less about any team in the play-in tournament. I got to be honest,
the
man.
Cavs, nobody's going to challenge the Cavs and the Celtics.
Got to be honest.
Atlanta's not going to do it. Miami's not going to do it. Chicago's not going to do it. None of those teams are going to hold a candle to what the Cavs and the Celtics.
And I apologize. I know we have a lot of Miami Heat fans. I mean, my God, the amount of license plates I see. You know the license plate I'm talking about with the Heat and the blue basketball? There are so many.
You down easy. They're going to get killed by other team if they play that. They're going to get killed.
Yeah, they are. But I hate to bash on the team down here, but I'm totally with it. I told you they're in the worst possible situation you could be in the NBA. Damian, let's do number 3.
Number 3.
All right, we're getting close to the draft, Colin. There's a rumor out there that Shedeur Sanders to the New York Giants could still be
he's
on.
having another workout. Yeah.
Our very own Mike Tannenbaum, who joins Theoretically Speaking, that you can hear at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., that joins this show, Russo and Rizzo, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, came out with a tweet that quote tweeted basically, hey, Shedeur is going to work out for the Giants. And the great Mike Tannenbaum said, this late in the process for something like this to happen, there's either a butting of heads between guys in general management or they're not ready to make a decision. Is there any legs with Shedeur to the Giants? Let's remember, the Giants have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the roster.
And Tommy DeVito.
And Tommy DeVito. 3 quarterbacks already on the roster, 2 of them, and Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson that they signed this offseason.
Can you imagine that quarterback room?
Dude.
Can you imagine Russell Wilson, who thinks he's higher than life?
Who's getting cut?
Who's
going to get cut,
Jameis
Colin?
Winston. I don't think anybody takes himself less serious than Jameis Winston does. And you got Tommy DeVito, who's like Mr. Italian himself, who had 2 good games against Green Bay on Monday Night Football, who bought himself another year with them, who's got the agent with the fedora and all that. And then Shedeur Sanders, who's his own media star in his own right.
And he's got prime.
So that would be a peculiar quarterback room of a clashing of different personalities. But yeah, I don't think it's the right move. I think they should go best player available there. If you were so high on Shedeur, you would have been high on him 2 months ago. I don't think anything determining in the last 2 weeks should really deter you in the other direction. If you weren't sold on him at the end of the season, you shouldn't be sold on him now. That would be my takeaway.
My take is, I said this with the Jets before the start of the season last year. Something stinks in New York. And this time around, it's with the Giants. Colin, these guys they're not going to have jobs at the end of the season. The Shane and the Dable, what are you doing? So you're going to work this kid out?
Be a smoke screen to try to get trade value.
I understand. But you're going to work this kid out and possibly take him at 3 after bringing in every backup quarterback and their mother in the offseason. They don't know what they're doing. I think that how the season ended last year, they lost 10 of 11? This I'm shooting from the hip here. They lost 10 games in a row at one point at the end of the season last year. The owner came out and said, if I knew it was going to be this bad, and more or less the owner came out and said he didn't like the direction of the team after he announced they were bringing him back. This stinks. They have talent. We talked all the time last year how they're talented on defense. They got Malik Neighbors. why would you let this team select, or excuse me, the people running the show select a young quarterback? Something stinks this time around in New York, and it's on the Giants side. Let's do number 4, Damian Perez.
Number 4.
All right, so Travis Hunter came out and said, Colin, it's quote-unquote over. Now, the young people are going to have to tell me what that means as I get up in age. But Travis Hunter says it's over if he cannot play both ways in the NFL. Do you think a team, whoever drafts him, is going to let him play both ways consistently game in and game out?
Yeah, I think he'll play both sides, at least a snap on either side.
But in Colorado, he was on the field the whole game.
On every snap. I think that's foolish to believe that. All of a sudden, he's a nagging hamstring injury. What do you think they're going to do then? All of a sudden, he's a bad ankle, and he's a game-time decision. You think they're going to let him roll out there and do 100 snaps? No, they're not going to do that. So my takeaway would be he's going to be a gadget player when available, and he's going to be a full-time defensive player. It's a little bit more valuable of a position. There's a little less good corners than there are good wide receivers. I would say that is the value that they're going to take him at, but I think it's a team-by-team basis.
Exactly.
I think how the Giants would use him would be different than how the Browns would use him versus how Jacksonville would use him. I think that's what his calling card. That's why he said that. He said, I want to go to a team that's going to utilize me as much as possible on either side. Of course, when he gets there, hey, if you don't want to play both ways and you're going to be difficult, then don't sign. We won't play you. I mean, it's not a big deal. So, obviously they want him to be involved. But if you're going to be such a pain and we're going to risk it, and then all of a sudden you get hurt and everybody's going to be all the wiser, but you on the injury list, I can't see that.
I can't see it either, and I do think with you said it's a team-by-team basis with how they use him. I completely agree. If the Browns draft him, they're going to use him as a receiver, I think, a lot more than maybe other teams would. If the Giants draft him, I think it's going to be more or less a corner. I know they went out and signed a lot of guys in the offseason on the defensive end side, Kyle, but I think if the Giants were to take him, he would probably be on the corner side of things. I think Travis is going to learn how much more physical the NFL is. Do you agree with me? I think there's a big difference between playing both ways in the NFL than playing both ways in college.
It's hard enough to play one way, and I understand if there's a guy who can do it, it's him. But you don't need to play. You don't need to have 18 targets a game.
Yep.
Play 10 snaps a game offensively. You offer something different every time you come on the field. The defense kind of gets on its heels a little bit. Do that. That's better off for everybody. Do that. Number 5.
Number 5.
All right, well, coming up in the next segment, Kyle, we're going to be talking NBA. I was going to do NBA here, but we're going to be talking NBA, which team has the most to gain, which team has the most to lose. But with everything that I have heard today from Colin Russo and our part-time street team man, Sam, folks, we have a situation, and I am calling it Chairgate here at the Jackie Robinson Training Facility. You heard it right, Chairgate. So, allegedly, Colin Russo, our part-time worker, Sam, and our partnership coordinator, Mike Jones, packed the truck for us to be on remote today at the Jackie Robinson Training Facility. We have these beautiful director's chairs. We had 4 of them before we left the station. We packed 3. Problem is, 1 made it to the remote, and Colin and Sam have no idea what happened to the other 2 chairs. Now, I know, and I'll let you have your moment. Let me have mine first. What I think actually exactly happened. Colin and Sam were engaged in a conversation about, Colin's very passionate about World War II, and I'm assuming Sam is as well. They were talking history in the truck, and Colin also said they did a botch of a job.
Wait, I didn't say that.
They did a botch of it. Hang on, let me finish.
Well, you tell the story wrong.
Colin nonetheless said, Riz, we could have done a better job packing the chairs in the back, and you show up here, you got 1 chair, the beautiful director's chair, you got 1 chair when you pack 3. You want to know what happened, folks? That chair is on the side of 95, the highway we all take north and south, and I'm not listening to Colin Russo tell me that there are thieves on the loose stealing chairs. Chairgate here at the Jackie Robinson Training Facility.
Doesn't have to be here. Can be on the road. We hit a couple red lights on the way here. Somebody's smart, if they're savvy, walking by, riding their bike. Hey, hold on a second. That looks like a nice chair. Let's go grab that. And listen, all I'm saying is it's up for interpretation. There's going to be an investigation that ensues, led by me, and it's going to be as even and as forthright.
Led by you, the guy who lost the chairs. We had Christina Katzaz on earlier.
Get the CIA to look after the Kennedy assassination.
But By the way, Christina Costanza from Theoretically Speaking, on-air host. You can listen to her on the happy hour 3 to 4 with Theo, Christian, and Tina. She's also our director of marketing. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if she led the investigation, but I understand the point. Colin, I'm not listening to people jumping on the back of the truck and taking the chairs.
They need to jump it.
Who was driving the car? Sam would have saw it in the rearview mirror. You would have felt people jump on the back of the truck. I am not buying robbers. This is pure negligence. The chairs flew out. You botched the backing process. Just take it on the chin. That's all I want you to do.
I don't believe because we haven't found it yet.
Just come out. Kyle.
This is you rolling over and dying when there's an investigation to be had.
Just come out and say you lost
it. There is a truth to be found.
Can you come out and say just tell me you lost the chairs? You lost the chairs.
The chairs are lost. It's a whether of how they were lost.
It's
is the real question.
We could get new chairs. Christina
and
Stephanie, our general manager, Stephanie, she's not going to be happy. But we could get new chairs.
All I'm saying is that for you to kind of just take the truth at what it is, there's no truth.
Well, I think you're making things up. You're making it up that people robbed the truck. What is this, the 1800s? You got highway bandits out there robbing wagons? What's going on?
I'm exploring the possibility.
You got cowboys out there with masks robbing wagons?
Thieves went off the grid in 1800? Is that what happened?
There's
no more thieves anymore?
I don't think there's any highway bandits.
Brother, don't exist?
My man, I don't think there are highway bandits out there holding...
Petty theft died with Lincoln, huh? Is that what happened?
Holding people up with revolvers and masks. Yeah. We're a long way from friggin' wagons and horses. That's all I'm saying.
Petty theft died with segregation. That's it. Jackie Robinson in the spirit of it. I mean, we don't have petty theft anymore in this U.S. of A. Mike, it's possible. We just got to let me do my investigation. Let me do my job.
You are,
and then we'll get to the bottom.
It is not up to you if you are leading the investigation, buddy.
I am leading the investigation. I'll assemble a team of myself, Sam, and Mike Jones, and Casey Korth, who also works with us, and we are going to get to the bottom of this.
Casey?
Because we need a level head in the room, somebody who wasn't involved.
Is he going to be at work? Is he actually going to be at the...
He'll teams in. That was our 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union right here on ESPN 106.3. On the flip side of things, 888-760-3776. Who has the most to gain this NBA playoffs? The Celtics have already won one. Cavaliers, does it lie with them? They won in 2016. Brand new team. Kenny Atkinson leading the way. Is it OKC sitting at the 1 seed looking for a way to almost confirm and validate their great season to validate the eventual MVP that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might get? Who has the most to gain this NBA playoffs? Mike and I give our answers on the flip side of things. Stick around for it. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Good people. Steele Dorsey.
May the force be with you.
Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is hosting Star Wars Night on Saturday, April 26th at 6 p.m. Come see the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals face off in a galaxy not too far away. Take pictures with your favorite movie characters and enjoy the fireworks after the game. To purchase tickets and to find out more information, stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com, to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE, a stunning blend of luxury, performance, and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $759 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $759 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS air conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, it's April the 15th, 2025, right here in South Florida. You know what that means. It's going to start getting pretty hot and pretty sticky in the next few days here. And no better time to really make sure that you got the right AC HVAC unit in your home and the plumbing. And go check out with our friends over at John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. They've been proudly serving Palm Beach County since 1960. You can visit CassidyAC.com to go check it out today. If you even have a different unit with a different company, go get it checked. And Cassidy offers people that work for them that will come on through and make sure you're up to date, make sure things are working properly, or make sure or let you know if you're in dire need of an update or of an upgrade, especially this time of year where it's going to get hot. You don't want to be behind the eight ball when it comes to your air conditioning and HVAC units. And John C. Cassidy, a local company, can help you out today. They're part of our local community. They support organizations like the YMCA, the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. So they're right here, based in South Florida. Go check it out today, CassidyAC.com. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo with you on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, 888-760-3776. I believe we have a caller here. Josh from from PGA, actually. So joining us now, Josh, Palm Beach Gardens. What's going on, Josh? Give us your thoughts.
How are you guys doing? Nice to see you the other day.
Yeah, good to see you, Josh. This is our pal right here. Josh is a fellow coach, actually, who had a far more successful team on the youth basketball front. Mike and I coached a couple months ago, and Josh was an opposing coach. Not in the same league, but opposing coach generally, and had a far more success than we did. Josh, give us your thoughts today. What do you got in mind for us?
The team with the most pressure in the NBA is the OKC Thunder. No offense to Mike and his Cavaliers, but does anybody really think that the Cavaliers are going to beat the Celtics? It's the Thunder. They've had the most wins since the 73-9 Warriors. This is their second year as the 1 seed, and everyone thinks they're going to win the West. There's a lot of pressure on Shea. There's a lot of pressure on guys like Jalen Williams, Chad Holmgren to step up, but the clear answer is OKC because it's the Western Conference is theirs to lose.
Well, would you say that the Western Conference is far more loaded in terms of 1 through 8 type of teams with talent that have a chance at knocking them? A lot of champions sitting there around the Western Conference. The Warriors are right there. The Nuggets are right there. The Lakers are right there. You got a lot of teams a lot of players that have won titles. What's your perspective on that?
I agree. The West is definitely stronger, but I still think there's a lot of flaws. You look at teams like Denver. I mean, they just fired the coach. You don't know what's going on there. The Lakers don't necessarily have a championship big man because they couldn't get Mark Williams. The Rockets are a young team. I think everyone knows the Celtics are the class of the class, and they are far superior from the Cavs. But I think at this point, OKC has dominated the Western competition all year. There's no excuses, especially with your second year as the 1 seed.
I hear you, Josh. I just feel like some of these players that Colin mentioned maybe turn it into a different gear come playoff time, but I understand the point, and I understand why you see Oklahoma City would have some pressure. Thanks for the call, partner. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Josh. All right, so rolling on here, Mike, what is your answer in terms of the team with the most to gain? You could say most pressure, like Josh
No.
answered,
I
but
got a couple. I got 3 of them for you, bud. So I think, believe it or not, I think it's the Lakers, and it's a peculiar situation. I don't think anybody thought Luka was going to be on this team come playoff time. Now, in a year or two, I think all the pressure in the world is going to be on this team to win a championship. But this year, they really don't have that pressure of, you got to win. You got Luka and LeBron. It's a must-win. With how bad that situation was for Dallas and how bad of a look it was for Dallas and trading them on over to the Lakers, I think they have they're one of those teams that have the most to gain because it's kind of one of those years where it's like, all right, I don't think anyone's expecting us really to win. I mean, to Josh's point, he just came on and said Oklahoma City's been the most dominant team. From that perspective, I think the Lakers have the most to gain because the spotlight isn't on them. Number 2, I think it's the Cavs for one reason only, and maybe it's a homer reason. Get out of the shadow of LeBron. You have a chance to win a championship without LeBron and to really establish yourself as the class of the East. I mean, fair play to Josh. He says they have absolutely no chance against the Celtics. They played pretty well against the Celtics last year with Donovan Mitchell being out of games and taking them deep into a series. I understand the point. If you ask me, I still think Boston probably comes out of the East, but I don't think their class is ahead of the Cavaliers. My 3rd team, the Clippers. Everybody's doubted this team. Everybody is doubted this team. They're the little brother of the Lakers. Let's call it for what it is. I'm sorry to my Clipper fans out there. You're the little brother of the Lakers, and you're rolling into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I'm not saying you got to win the whole thing, but if you win a couple of playoff series and make things interesting and upset a couple of people, you could definitely gain a little momentum. Those are my 3, Kyle. The Lakers, the Cavs, and the Clippers, who I think have the most to gain.
Let's think about this for a second. I think I got 2 fronts, one on each conference. Talk about most to gain. To answer it literally in terms of they have a wide range of respect and, I guess, reputation in the NBA that they have yet to gain, that they can gain with a great playoff run or a championship run at that. It's Houston. It's the Houston Rockets. To talk about a 2 seed that has won 54 games and you've completely forgotten about. And this is a team that arrested starters 3 of the last 4 games of the year. This team was closer to being a 60-win team than people want to admit. And what? Has anybody floated them to even get out of the first round? Talk about most to gain. If they're able to come in and win 2 playoff series, all of a sudden there's a big different splotch of their reputation throughout the NBA.
Is the tough guy act going to work in the playoffs with Ime Udoka and that team?
The tough guy act?
Yeah,
well, how else are they supposed to play?
You know I'm not a Udoka guy. I can't take him serious. I think there's
tough guy. I mean, but they're young, they're talented, they're athletic, they're deep.
I understand. I think that when it comes to the Rockets, they got to do what Oklahoma City did, right? You got to get there and lose first. Listen, if they go,
you don't have. But that's my point. Most to gain.
Sure.
That's how other teams.
I just don't see it coming to fruition because I think a more experienced team will probably beat them. But Colin, to your point, they have young legs. They could last longer in these games. They could run the court longer in a lot of these games. I understand that point. I just think when it comes to playoff time, similar to Oklahoma City, I've been telling you how high I've been on Oklahoma City all year. But I think the likes of if you run into a Curry, if you run into a LeBron and a Luka, I mean, these are experienced players. I love SGA. He's a Kentucky guy. But is him and his, and the battalion that they got over there at Oklahoma City going to be able to compete with all-time greats like LeBron and Luka? I have my doubts. And it's the same way for me with the Rockets.
because of the similar
pedigree,
Now,
the
one
playoff
thing about
pedigree.
the Thunder won 54 games this season by 10-plus points, which I believe is an NBA record. So they were as dominant against the field. I could see them coming in and kind of thrashing teams from the get-go. Talk about a team that has a lot to prove, to be motivated, but there's also a point that, hey, like, we haven't seen it yet. We're not going to believe it until we see it.
Is Memphis, let's say Memphis is the 8 seed, like how I think it might come to fruition. That's not a series?
Not a chance.
Okay.
No way.
Okay. How about Golden State? If the Golden State loses tonight and they win 2 nights
Golden State can't match up with their size.
I agree.
They got Hartenstein and Holmgren there. They're losing in 5.
Wow.
They're losing in 5,
Okay.
maybe 6.
Maybe I'm underestimating Oklahoma City a little bit.
Underestimating a 67-win team who won 54 games by 10-plus?
Maybe I'm underestimating them a little bit. I still see Golden State and the pedigree of Curry and Draymond. Maybe I got to open the blinders up a little bit.
How can you say that about OKC and then all of a sudden you draw a different tune when it comes to Cleveland, who's in the exact same situation?
Because the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell.
What about Donovan Mitchell?
The Cavs have if Mitchell was healthy, they beat the Celtics last year.
No, they don't. The guy had done a whole lot of nothing his whole NBA career.
If Mitchell was healthy and played in games 6 and 7, they win. So that's my 2 cents.
Not a chance. Oh, these what ifs with the Cleveland fans. How can you say that about OKC, but you can't say that about Cleveland? Oh, you haven't seen it. So same thing with the Cavs. What we saw a first round victory for them?
The Cavs have went deeper in the playoffs than Oklahoma City though.
They both went to the second round. So that's it. One lost to Dallas, the other lost to Boston. Both teams who met in the NBA Finals. How is that fair? So we're going to say that about Oklahoma City, but we're not going to say that about Cleveland? When there's less talent in the Eastern Conference, yeah, fair. But, I mean, my perspective is OKC, they're a weird team. They shoot a lot of free throws. They're young. They're deep. They play great perimeter defense. They have probably 3 top 10 perimeter defenders in the NBA in their lineup. But I don't think that's fair. If you want to call the experience card, then call it for Cleveland, call it for Houston, and call it for OKC.
I think with how deep the West is, I guess this is my point. You could catch Boston with their pants down. You can. I hate the way they play. I don't respect the way they play.
They just coasted to 61 wins. What do you mean you could catch them with their pants down?
You could catch them with their pants down if they're not making their threes. And I saw the Cavs come back from 25 points down in the TD Garden this year. All right, I understand maybe playoff time, things are different. Guys are more locked in. But if they go ice cold from 3, like how they do sometimes in the games that they lose, you could catch them, and hence the term, you could catch them with their pants down a little bit comparatively with how they play.
Fair, but they're a good defensive team. They're a good coach.
So are the Cavs.
They're experienced. You can't call the
Cavs
experience
got Allen
card
and Mobley.
for one.
Mobley should win Defensive Player of the Year this year.
You can't call experience card for one side, and you can't not do it for the other. That's not fair. It's just not fair.
Maybe it is the Cleveland in me, but I'm saying that the core in Cleveland has been around with that team. I mean, dude, Garland, Mobley. I know Okoro's a role player, but Okoro.
2 years.
These guys have played together. Some of these guys have played together for the likes of 4 or 5 years.
And what has OKC done? What has OKC done? You can't do this. You played both sides, Mike. That doesn't make any sense. You can't say that about OKC and not say it for Cleveland. That's fine. You think the experience is going to triumph all? All right, then have Boston beat Cleveland in a nice 6 games. That's fair. Most to gain for me. Talk about the team. Cavs have expectations. The OKC Thunder have expectations. The Rockets have no expectations whatsoever. That's my team that's most to gain.
What do you think on the Laker take that I had, where it's not necessarily expectations this year with Luka and LeBron?
When are they? But hold on a second. LeBron is 40 years old. How many of these years does he have left? I mean, I know we've been saying this since probably the turn of the decade, but at a certain point, 40 years old, LeBron's going to get sick of this. What do you want to give him a 4-year window? You're going to have to do it eventually, right?
I'm saying within 3 years. With this year, not a lot of pressure, but the next 2 certainly. I see LeBron playing at a high level for 3 more years.
I agree with this year because it was a mid-season acquisition. It was a first-year head coach. It's not win or bust. I'm not saying that is for the Lakers. But, I mean, if you come out and lose in the first round, that's a disappointment. If Minnesota beats you in that first round, that's a disappointment. By any stretch, that is a disappointment if Minnesota is able to beat Los Angeles. And that is after losing Karl Anthony Towns and after the best mid-season acquisition that we could remember in recent memory for the Lakers. If they lose to Minnesota, it's a disappointment. Second round, we could have a conversation depending on how it goes. But there's only so many years of LeBron left. There's only so many, 2, 3, maybe.
It's going to be a good series, to your point.
2, 3, maybe.
The Lakers and Timberwolves, that's going to be a good series.
Good series indeed. And talk about a team that kind of learned how to lose and learned how to win. They beat the defending champions in 7 in an excellent series where they kicked them by 55 points in Game 6, and then they were able to beat them in Game 7. Credit to them there. So on the flip side of things.
Now they had Cat too. Sorry to they did
they
have Cat too.
They got Julius. It's a different team. Julius Randle, another year of Finch and Anthony Edwards. We'll see. But I think Minnesota is going to be a very pesky, very dangerous postseason team. They're deeper than people want to admit, and I think that is an intriguing matchup with that Laker and Minnesota. I don't think anybody of those higher seeds wanted to see Minnesota. I think they would have rather seen Golden State, and they would rather seen Los Angeles. I don't care how hot the other two teams are. I think Minnesota in the postseason, for some reason, they're hungry. They're different. They're wired a little bit differently, and they got a great player in Anthony Edwards. That's Mike Rizzo. Colin Russo here on the flip side of things. Most to lose in the season this upcoming NBA season. 888-760-3776. Who has the most to lose? We talked about who most to gain. Mike says teams like Cleveland, teams like OKC. I say teams like the Rockets. What are you about on the flip side of things? Team with most to lose. We'll answer that question next and close out the program here live from the Jackie Robinson Training Complex up in Vero Beach, Florida. It's Russo and Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
It's Jackie Robinson Day in the Major League Baseball, and there's no better time to really get started over on Hard Rock Bet. Download the app today in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today. Hard Rock's the best because if you're a new type of player, it caters to you. But also, if you're the experienced type of player, it also caters to you. Caters to both ends of the spectrum. That's how accessible the app actually is. If you're brand new, don't really know what to bet, how to put together a good parlay, check out the Discover page. See what other users have put together. Check out some of the profit boosts. I believe today there might be a Jackie Robinson-themed profit boost. Go check it out. I'll leave a little nugget there. And then on the flip side of things, if you're experienced, you want to put together a really intricate parlay, you could do that over on the Hard Rock Bet app. If you try it now, you get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, can be whatever you like to bet in the game you choose. Win that first one to get the same amount you bet as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888 Well, Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damian Perez are with you on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. If you're in the program today, you want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Well, NBA playoffs teeing off officially on Saturday. You get the play-ins tonight throughout the rest of the week. Warriors, Grizzlies, see what happens there. But we talked about teams with to gain throughout this, who sort of has the longest amount of chewable food in front of them. And you think about the flip side of things. Who sort of has the leeway here, but they're sitting on a tower, and all of a sudden the foundation's getting a little shaky. Like, who has the most to lose of the postseason teams in the NBA? Mike, your answer?
I got two. The Knicks, I think, is the common answer. Colin, if they lose to Detroit, Thibodeau won't even be on the point. If they lose to that in that series, now granted, they could be a home game, so points kind of rich. But I think after that series, if they were to lose to Detroit, Tibbs doesn't have a job. We know their record against teams that are good. They didn't beat the Cavaliers one time this year. They didn't beat the Celtics one time this year. So when you look at it from that perspective, you know how New York fan is. They expect to be on the level of the Cavaliers and the Celtics. They revamped this team. And they got rid of Cat and revamped this team in Thibodeau's eyes to be on that level of the best in the Eastern Conference. If they lose to Detroit Pistons, he won't have a job. I say that again. If they lose to the Pistons, Tibb is not going to have a job. If they win a playoff series, though, and they do the Pistons, you're going to have some conversations because are they going to be okay with winning 50 games and going on a playoff run? That's something you're going to have to ask a Knicks fan. But personally, they're starving for a championship. Those fans have been crying for years that the Knicks haven't won a championship, and God only knows how long. I think it's the Knicks with the most to lose by far. By far, it's the New York Knicks.
Yeah, in terms of the most that could actually happen if they were to lose, Knicks are high up there on the list. I would say on the other side of things, if you're sitting there and you're Denver and you drop and have a terrible playoff series.
They've been hot.
Hot 3 games. They beat Sacramento, the Grizzlies, and the Houston Rockets, who didn't play any of their starters.
I understand. Rather have them win the games going into it than not.
Well, fair. But, I mean, they fire their coach, and all of a sudden you go into the postseason losing 5 and losing 6 to the Clippers. That's not a good look either. Most to gain. If that happens, Denver will be looking at quite a retool going into next year. They're going to get rid of a lot of players. They're probably going to ship Michael Porter Jr. They're probably going to consider shipping out Jamal Murray. If they do not put together a good postseason run, they're going to be making a lot of changes within the structure of that team with a new general manager and new head coach.
And the Joker, obviously, I think would be the only untouchable on that roster. If the new general manager comes in there and wants to clean house with everyone outside of Joker, you think the Kroenkes, the ownership of the Nuggets, are sleep at night? Personally, I don't think so. Maybe Jamal Murray, because he was such a big part of that championship run a couple of years ago. But availability has been his problem, Colin. Availability and being on the court has been his problem. So I think there's an out as far as Jamal Murray in Denver, but I like it. I think if I had to pick someone in the Western Conference with the most to lose, it's them.
Yeah.
It's definitely them. I don't think it's Oklahoma City. I quite frankly don't think Oklahoma City is under any pressure at all because they're young.
They're under a lot of pressure.
They're young, though. They're going to be doing this for the next couple of years.
I mean, how many times can you win 67 games and have nothing to show for it, right? I mean, how many years are the Stars going? You're going to have to pay some of these guys eventually. It's going to get harder and harder to get this crew together. This is sort of like the stars are aligning moment. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to make $75 million here pretty soon. They're paying Hartenstein $30 million a year. What happens when you get a home grain? Bolt Jalen Williams.
But we're still, a year or two away from that. They still have some time, is what I'm saying. Unlike maybe a couple other teams.
You got a window.
Sure. You want to know, Kyle? I wanted to bring this team up to you. You want to know whose window is closed? Is Milwaukee. And listen, I understand Damian Lillard's hurt. But I think they're another team that could have something to lose. If they don't beat Indiana, I think there's going to be some questions.
I think that.
See, they don't beat Indiana. I think there could be some questions.
Watch Milwaukee be dangerous. Be dangerous. They get the best player on the floor in any game they play, and I don't love Giannis in the postseason. I really don't. In the game against Miami where he quit, terrible. But the way I view it is they've played well recently. They kind of are the old man roster of this NBA playoffs of all of them.
Even after getting rid of
Then
Middleton.
the Clippers and the Warriors are the oldest teams probably in the field. And they need to kind of put up or shut up at this moment or else they're going to be dealing with quite a retool as well. They got Doc Rivers there who knows how to win a playoff series. He's not an elite playoff coach, but knows how to win a playoff series. I could see them being dangerous. They can't necessarily challenge Boston or the Cleveland, but to get out of that first series, maybe give somebody a scare just because of Giannis on his presence alone, I think that would be a little dangerous. He's got some presence. He's got fire. He's as good of a player as there is in the NBA. He's been top 5 in MVP voting. It's about 7 years running. He's going to be top 5 again in MVP voting. Averaged 30 points per game. He played like 68 games. Watch them be a little dangerous. I know they don't have Damian Lillard with blood clots, so that's going to be at least out for the first part of the round.
I question a bit of their depth, but I'm with you.
I question they're going to be relying on Kyle Kuzma to figure this out.
Gary Trent.
So, but I think Giannis is as good of a player that he could catapult them to a series. Interesting. Most to lose. I don't know if anything's expecting anything out of Milwaukee. That's the one thing.
I just, when I think of most to lose, how long – and listen, if you think I'm crazy for this, let me know. I know how the NBA star is, Colin, okay? How many more times is Giannis going to be able to handle, not being one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference when he's at the peak of his career? Is it only –
if there's one person you can say that
could they lose Giannis?
It's Jokic, too.
Sure, understood. Let's add them to the mix, too. Could Denver lose Jokic if things don't go right? Could Milwaukee lose Giannis if things don't go right?
How are you going to get rid of him? You got to get rid of him. You're going to get a haul
When
back.
I mean lose, request for a trade. Because that's the ultimate death march in the NBA is when your star says, get me out of here.
Right. And I don't think them winning in the first round or losing in the first round
matters.
Make that much of a difference. Maybe it does.
Pressure's on, right? Be on.
That's you assuming that Giannis is unhappy in Milwaukee. Right? I can't imagine he's stoked. He's not competing for a championship every year, but who is competing for a championship every year?
I think we're a long way from him eating Chick-fil-A nuggets, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree. He's in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
He's had a great season, but I don't know his personal. If he's unhappy because Damian Lillard got hurt, they're an aging roster. They're trying to make changes. They weren't afraid to get rid of Jrue Holiday. They weren't afraid to get rid of Middleton. They're trying. I could give them more credit than I can Denver, who's trying to bash over the same thing, but when it's a roster problem and all of a sudden they adjust the coach. That would be more of my issue.
Fair.
But I understand both sides. At a certain point, Jokic has never had an all-star teammate. Think about that for a second. Jokic has never had an all-star teammate.
For years, it's like, Jamal Murray will just not during the playoffs.
Right. Hey, at a certain, like an all-star, I'm not sure if that's a gauge for greatness, but, there's only so many players in the NBA, and a lot of them have big-time teammates, big twos, big threes, you name it, all NBA teammates, and they're kind of just expecting Jokic to make it work with the Michael Porter who never took the next steps, and with a Jamal Murray who is erratic but a great postseason player. You can't necessarily rely too much on that. As for the Milwaukee side, Milwaukee's kind of gotten unlucky. They got extremely lucky in 2021 when they won the title. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, ever since then, they've kind of dealt with the age. They've dealt with the getting rid of the coach. Giannis was unhappy with Griffin. It's a spotty ownership. We'll see what happens there. I can totally see both sides. I can't speak for how he feels about the organization, but I imagine they're catering to him quite a bit. If they were willing to make moves to try to make the team a little bit more spice, how often can we? Giannis is just, all right, well, I got rid of the coach. We had to get rid of Holiday. I needed another star. They got me another star. That didn't work out. We got rid of Middleton. We brought me in Kyle Kuzma. That didn't work out. They're catering to making it work for him. All of a sudden it doesn't work. I need to leave.
Now what happens, and we're running out of showtime here, what happens with the Knicks, Kyle, if they implode? I
would have fired Thibodeau last year. I'm out on Thibodeau. I'm biased.
But like Brunson and that whole that team is built around the way Tibbs plays, especially with Cat being out of town and them trading for Bridges and company. This team is tailor-made to Thibodeau. That's my thing. They're going to have to do a lot of. We talk retooling. We talk retooling a lot on the show. Be a lot of retooling.
You don't bring in a new coach and then change the roster to the coach. You bring in a coach that can make the roster.
Do you agree
work.
They kind of did that though with Thibodeau? With
changes to they got Cat. They got
sorry. I apologize. With getting Cat and Bridges.
But
is that not tailor-made to Tibbs?
Yeah, it helps with Tibbs because he got a bunch of Iron Men on the floor. But bringing a coach to cater to the roster, you don't necessarily bring in a coach and then create the roster. You're going to thinking, all right, we have the roster here, a la Cleveland. We're going to need a coach that maximize these talents. That would be they need to find their Cat Atkinson and get rid of their JB Bickerstaff.
Well,
that would be my view on
before
the
we throw a trade for Atkinson, let's have him make a run here, okay?
Got to make a run. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo here. If you missed the program today, listen back. Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back live tomorrow 4 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN 106.3.